Dan from here, Lions Karate. I want to talk to you about difficulty of weapons. This could be talking to you as a competitor or helping to educate some judges on the difficulty between some of the weapons. So I'm going to demonstrate some, talk about some, and then kind of point out if you're a competitor and you lose to some of these weapons, why? Or maybe you are looking for your next weapon and looking for an edge over your competitors, but you also need to have educated judges to understand the difficulty of the weapons so that they can say, all right, that is more difficult. Example, there is, I've lost many times I lost to Sushi no Kon. So Sushi no Kon, it's one of the beginner to intermediate level, boom here, and there's no grip changes, there's a couple different directions, repeats a few things here and there, but no grip changes, and I mean there's some intense moments and there's some stances in there, but the difficulty between a non-grip change bow and being able to bring it back, or Mr. Webb does it great where he stops it and then brings it back, and I don't think his form is recognized for the difficulty that he puts in there, and I just want to talk about that. So what most students pick up and what most judges know the most is the bow. Whether it's Suisho, where your grip never changes, or you get into Chaban, Chuan, Bojits, you get into a bunch of other ones where there's sliding. Well, this is not something that you just, no problem. It's something that you have to practice. I remember when I first learned Ruby no Kon from Mr. Saunders, Mike Saunders out in Wabash, and came back from a karate camp. Mr. Gilmore, check this out. And so you go here, and then you go here, and then you go here, and my instructor went here, here, here. No. We practice this. We practice this for hours. And to be able to do that and to toss it back, boom, up, boom, without having to look at it, without having to do that, there's a difficulty in grip changes. And hopefully that starts to get recognized by the competitors wanting more difficult stuff, and also by the judges saying, ooh, yeah, boy, I don't know that I can do that too well. Or those that can do it recognize it and say, oh yeah, that took me a long time to be able to do a smooth transition, keeping that same part of the bow without coming up, and now you only got an itty bitty part of the bow. No, you have to do it so you got the full and still have the full. So difficulty in grip changes with the bow. Next, the next weapon we work on in a class is the nunchucks. Well, our basic bow form has zero manipulation. The nunchuck, our basic nunchuck is basic. I strike down, down, turn swing, step swing, and then we do the same pattern this way. So it's the same pattern, but we're letting go and catching the nunchuck 4, 4, 4, 4, 16 times. So that is a higher difficulty. We also tell our students that if they drop it or don't catch it, well, they should automatically lose. You're doing a higher difficulty, well, there's a higher risk involved with that. But because of that, the score should also reflect that. One of our students that does a basic bow form, Suisho, and then a basic nunchuck form, and doesn't miss a catch, if they do equal stances, equal intensity, then the basic nunchuck form should beat the basic bow form. It's a higher level of difficulty. A lot of times it doesn't because it repeats, but once again, this video is hoping to educate some of you on what's more difficult, what should get scored higher, not only from a competitor's point of view, but for the judges as well. But then with the nunchucks, you also have Grip changes. Our nunchuck got a 2. So you're here, and you go, boom. Well, that's a pretty quick grip change. And then from here, we do a backwards figure 8. Later on, we do a regular figure 8. There's other forms that do, I say backwards, just a reverse grip. There's other forms that have a reverse figure 8 versus the normal figure 8. And competitors, you have to learn to do this stuff different. Judges, you need to say, wow, that is different. Maybe I've never ran the nunchucks. Well, if you've never run the nunchucks and you're able to just pick up a set of nunchucks and do a reverse figure 8, or Miss Bond does a form with double reverse figure 8s, and unfortunately her double nunchuck form doesn't get scored high, but it's mainly because people don't know the difficulty. Can you show me how to do it better, sir? That's disrespectful to do. There's many times when I've lost with the Tampa, and just at the last MVTA tournament, I got scored low by the 5th judge there. And, sir, could you, well, that's 3rd judge. Sir, could you tell me what I did wrong in the Tampa form to maybe I can improve? Well, I don't know how to run the Tampas. It looked kind of like a basic form, so I scored a basic form score. I had that happen at another event. A judge said, it didn't really look that difficult to me. Oh, thank you. That's because I've been running it for 20 years and I've worked to make it that smooth and that crisp and that looking simple to other judges that don't run the Tampa. Same thing for the nunchucks. If you don't run them, it's hard to say that's easy. Size. We have a bunch of students that run the size, and I'll be the first to admit that they go, blah, blah, blah. But for somebody to go, boom, 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 and not have to look at them, not flunder with it, it's difficult. Also, for blocking, we don't block regular because then it's underneath. And if you blocked something, maybe a bow or something, then you would get hit. So having that understanding of, so our finishing 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice how I rotate it out so that the back part, but it has to be boom, boom, boom. Getting these in the proper place. You'll see black belts that come up and they run it so fast. They go, hoo, ha, hoo, hoo, ha, ha, hoo, hoo, ha, and it's really sloppy. But then you see other black belts that run it, and it is boom, 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 boom. Thumbs go to the back, fingers get out of the way, thumbs hook in. There's a lot of precision that goes into the size that some people have it, some people don't. Hopefully the judges are used to running them, so boom, boom, boom. They can see that's a block, that's a strike, there's a block, or it could be a strike with that. But so difficulty in weapons, size are difficult. How about the Comas? He's a doll, don't worry. So Comas, there's a black belt that seems to win all the time. Never lets go of his Comas. Da 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 da, do 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 do, boom 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 boom. You can manipulate the Comas. There's different ways to. You can take your fingers over, rotate, do stuff that way, then fingers over, rotate. You can kind of pinch between your fingers and rotate down, pinch between your fingers, rotate up. But there's a skill in that. And for competitors to have to learn it, they're saying, holy cow, I've dropped these Comas 100 times trying to learn that stuff. And then maybe you go and you get a judge that, well, we never ran the Comas, so you go here and then go here. Well, we've never done that before, and that looked really simple because, well, it's because I've done it 20 million times, and I can do it in my sleep. Hey, boom, and then go on to the next because, of course, it has to be able to block. But because I've done it so many times, that's why it's easy for me. Somebody that hasn't done it thinks it looks easy, so they think, no big deal. But then we go to this tournament, and this black belt runs boom, 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 whatever, never lets go. All he's doing is running an empty hand form holding on to Comas. Now to me, all right, that's kind of impressive because you have to turn your elbows a little bit to get the cut. But otherwise, you're just running an empty hand form. Boring, basic, low score. But this black belt seems to win all the time. I don't know why. Manipulation. We even added a little, we have a traditional way, and then if you want to run a tournament way, we come in here, and then they drop down, boom, 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 boom. So you have that manipulation, boom, boom, boom. So you're pulling them in and out so that you're showing the judges, I have full control of my weapon. I'm using my weapon more than just, here I am cutting, but here I'm blocking, I'm blocking, I'm blocking, I'm cutting with the reverse grip. So there's many different ways that the competitor has to learn to deal with because it's challenging, and hopefully the judges can see, hey, boy, I bet that is tough, and can score higher accordingly. I mentioned the Tonfa already. Tonfa I enjoy because it is difficult. 1, 2, boom, boom. Getting it to stop where you want it. There's some people that kind of put it out and just, whoa. Well, all I'm doing is holding it right here and just moving my elbow and my hand. You should be able to see the difference between moving my elbow and just snaking it through and 1, 2, down. But there's different ways, there's different this, there's different this. And if you haven't picked up the weapon, you don't know how difficult the figure 8 down is, or to do it quick. And Lord forbid we do it with our left hand, boom, boom, because so many people haven't done it. So there was a tournament up in Michigan I competed at. I lost to sushi no cone by a student that, black belt, that came up, judges, sushi no cone, my school is, like, he messed up completely. That, to me, that's part of the presentation. That's part of the whole thing that you're being judged on. He messed up, he came back in, did it again, ran what I thought was a colored belt sushi no cone, and he ended up winning. And I went to the instructors, 7th, 8th, 9th degrees. What can I do better? Oh, we don't run the Tonfa. Okay, thank you, sir. What can I do better? I don't run the Tonfa. Thank you, sir. What can I do better? I don't run the Tonfa. Well, so don't run the Tonfa. So it flusters me when we have that. When I get, but the bow is the #1 thing that people run. So when you run a new weapon, the fan, holy cow. We went to a seminar over, back in January, and with Mr. Colger, and Mr. Colger got a new respect for it. He's been judging it for a while, but having to go out, back, and be ready. Left hand too, out, back, be ready. And if you hold on to the wrong side, it doesn't go. You have to hold on to the correct side. You have to pinch it when it comes back. There's so much more difficulty that goes into this fan than judges know. Yes, it's pretty, yes, yeah. But imagine it as a weapon with spikes and a sharp blade so that you could actually punch somebody, you could actually cut somebody. I realize we're not going to have it at the tournament, and they're really loud, and sometimes if you hear them a lot, they get a little annoying because of it. But there is skill and technique that goes into the fan kata that I did a seminar, probably in 2019, invited any black belt, come just work with the weapons. Give us 20 minutes with each weapon and maybe 10 minutes with each weapon, and we'd go for pizza. And we didn't get anybody to show up. I'm sad about that, because I hope that black belts don't get into the attitude of, I know everything, you can't teach me anything. You'll meet black belts that are out there like that, but always learning, always improving, and always growing in martial arts is the way it should be. So fan is actually pretty tough. Try it sometime. Pick one up. Kai, Iku, yes. If there's no grip changes, it's the same as a bow. We do a Chibando cone, and we have something where we manipulate it a little bit, and then there's the, where we're going, boom, 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 here, boom, boom, boom. There's other forms that have that stuff in. You have to know where to strike. You have to have that angle. You can't hit somebody with the blunt edge. You're going to strike them. You're going to block with that flat edge. You're going to sweep with that scoop. You're going to do so many things that if it's a form designed for the Kai, for the EQ, then that raises the difficulty. Now, there should be grip changes, there should be other stuff, just like a bow. Hopefully it's not just a bow form ran with the Kai, with the EQ, but should be a little different. There should be a difference in how it's ran because it's made for this weapon. Same thing when we get to the naginata. That's a bow with a sword blade kind of at the end. Traditionally female martial art weapon if you watch the movie Budo. But very deadly weapon. But you shouldn't be holding it here. They're way out here, way out there with the weapon. So making sure to do techniques that go with the weapon. Then we have the katana or Vulcan. So part of this, if you've never worked the sword, I want you to draw it once and don't draw it here. Should be up like our high block and down. First finger pointing back, or not necessarily having to point, but using this pinky and finger as not necessarily these others, and then the other can even have pinky off, depending on what type of kenjutsu or aido you did. But gripping up here, not way back here, gripping up here and coming down. Where the strike, boom, we're not swinging through, we're not going off balance. Notice how my head swings when I do this big stuff. Boom. Should be stable and balanced the whole way through. Focus on the putting it back, the resheathing. So my instructor always called it cheating like the remote. He called it the remote control. I think I use the thumb for remote control, but he called it with the pointer finger. But being able to put it back without, you'll see some students, no, back, put in, together. So watching how they draw the sword, whether it's in stepping back or if they draw and step back. Some students do that scorpion pose in there, watching how they strike, how they cut, if they're coming off balance. There's more than just, oh, I picked up a sword and now I'm going to swing it. That's not technique. But if you can see the technique, boom. We have a form where we turn sideways as we stab. We turn sideways so that when we turn, this would cut through the ribs. If you stabbed in this way, you'd be moving around like a shish kebab. But just different things we do that in different ways so it's consistent. And good to see you, Mr. Bell. So that's more about the Vulcan and katana. I think that covered most of the weapons you might see at tournaments. I hope that helps not only the competitors, but also the judges to see that difficulty. And maybe if you're a competitor and you're losing to the nunchucks that you think is a basic nunchuck form, well, they're letting go of it 16 times and catching it. So that's what takes it higher. If you're running suisho or sushi no kon or something basic, they're running something that is more difficult because you have to let go and catch it. You see the tampas, you see the size, you see a sloppy side form, yeah, it's not going to get scored as high. But if you see a side form 1, 2, 3, boom, 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 then that obviously will be beating a bow form that is basic with no grip changes, assuming there's equal power and equal stances in each form. So I hope that helps. Hope that helps the competitors and the judges. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Thank you very much.